This is a teardown of a Zeki tablet. The flared screw holes were in these metal brackets here. There was also some, what I would guess is hot glue from a glue gun holding it down, so I just used the screwdriver and pried that off. Are also some smaller screws holding the board down, which I will be taking off. Because I am trying to get to the digitizer, this exterior glass, I'm just going to be removing the entire thing, and I'm going to have to try to figure out which cable is actually running to the digitizer so I can take the digitizer off and put it on my current Zeki, which is functioning, but it has a cracked digitizer. I've got my little screwdriver here that I'm using to take these off. I'm not worried about static electricity since this again is just a scrap model. This is the cable that actually goes to the digitizer. There's a little bit more glue from a hot glue gun just right here. I am honest to goodness not sure how this is generally done because I've never done it before. As long as I keep my digitizer intact, I'm going to be happy. You got the camera here. See if I can pry that off a little. There, so that's the camera. I'm just going to carefully remove the tape here and see if I can unplug the digitizer, since that is really what I'm after here. So there's another screw underneath there. As you're looking at it this way, the visible screws are on the right side, but there are two screws on the left side at the top and the side that the motherboard covers. So the motherboard just pulls off over to the side, and the last screw, which you can't get to until you move the motherboard. All right. So what I'm going to do is score it along this groove to try to loosen the glue. Then I'm going to run the screwdriver between the digitizer and the casing. It's beautiful. So you can see the adhesive there. I'm going to be putting it into a protective case. I customized a Nook gumdrop case for the Zeki. Honestly, with the gumdrop case, I spent as much as I did on the tablet itself. For me, it's not so much about what the tablet cost. Okay. I need to be a little more careful around the ribbon here. Not so much about what the cost of the tablet was versus the cost of the case, but being able to use the tablet for what I want to, which is, schooling for my kids. I homeschool a little bit right now, and these are just invaluable tools. Right. So there I have my intact digitizer to replace my current cracked digitizer. It cracked before I had it in the gumdrop case. The adhesive on the back is still sticky enough that I hope to be able to use it. So this is my current Zeki, and this is the gumdrop case for the Nook that I used. What I did is I just cut out a place for the power button and cut a little hole for the speaker there. I don't really need to have access to the HDMI out. I don't really want the kids to have access to the camera because they end up using all of the memory taking blurry pictures. The Zeki is still functioning even after the screen cracked. That crack is visible, but it hasn't affected the functionality at all. For the cheap tablet that it is, it really does a nice job. And of course that's Kids Place that I had up because this is a tablet that I use for my children. The functionality here, we'll do Baby Explorer. It's one of my favorite apps for my kids. So yeah, it's a little bit slow. This will be a good one. So even with the broken digitizer, this is actually still very functional. Just take the gumdrop case off, which I love. It's one of the best designed cases. Zeki makes a leather case, and it was just total junk. What I'm noticing on these tablets is it's the same model. Looking at the size, these are different sizes. My Zeki is a smooth face. You can see there's no bevel. It's very smooth, very streamlined. But this Zeki had a bevel along the edge there. Starting to open the case, you want to start at the end with the ports. Get a little screwdriver or something and just put it in there. I actually got the screwdriver in over at the volume rocker. Anywhere there's a small gap, and all you do is just pull it off. My speaker is still attached. If you look at the part number and compare it with this part number, DRF 07060 V1. This one is DRF 07087 V1. So these are different digitizers. Here we're looking at the Zeki. I'm sorry, I cannot get a better shot of it than this. I'm just going to try to remove the motherboard. So far I've removed 4 screws on the motherboard, 4 more screws around the battery and the LCD. Make sure I take out the micro SD card. Here we go. I'm just going to take a quick look. I think I can manage this. So with this gray anchor, the digitizer, you fold that up. Take the tape out. It's that simple. Pop up the gray, take the tape out. Okay. Now it's just a question of replacing my broken digitizer, which is badly cracked for this brand of Zeki without the beveled edges. If you wanted to try to find it by part number, I wish you luck. Pay attention to the fact that your power button and volume rocker will probably pop off when you take the case off. And you need to remember to put that back in there in the right place. Okay, so I'm just using an old trick that anyone who has removed broken glass uses. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. These gloves stink. Tape it. Once I get this thing taped, I'll have a much easier time removing it. I won't need to worry about shards of glass popping in my eye. Now that I've taken the safety precaution, should come along a little bit easier. This is awesome. Okay. If you are so unfortunate as to have gloves like these, don't mind the pieces of digitizer sticking to them. Okay. Just line up the camera. You can see it really does not fit perfectly. There's quite a gap on both sides because this is a different model. On the other hand, that is almost entirely going to be covered with my gumdrop case. There's a little screw housing right in here underneath the location of the motherboard. So just peel the tape off. Okay. So, with the motherboard back in place, you can see where the other screws are going to be going. Here, here, and here. And then there are the outer screws. There. Anyway, so I'm just going to get this screwed into place. There's a little gray tab here which you can push down or pop up. You want it in the up position. Stick the ribbon in there and then push the gray tab down to anchor that in place, then replace the tape.
He's in the rocking chair and I still don't watch a movie.
I decided to test drive it, and screen works like a charm, no crack. Once I get the case back on, the gumdrop case, you're not even going to see the bevel at all. Just pop it back onto place. Listen to it snap. Even though the screen was wrong for my case, the only place you can see it is this little teeny corner right here because I have the gumdrop case on. Okay, I have to reset this. So, baby pop. Touchscreen works like a charm.